what it is, everybody. Thanks for tuning back into another episode here on the Speedbug channel. I want to talk to you guys about the entry level of the 600s here. And we have the Yamaha R6, the GSX-R 600. You know, of the big four, I mean, there's still a couple other ones. We have the Ninja 636, and of course we have the CBR 600, R or double R, whatever the hell it's called. CBR 600. And I want to talk to you guys a little bit about which one I think really is the best entry level to intro superbike for the 600 category. Now, I personally have the GSX-R 600 here, and I think that it's great, and it's probably going to be the top contender. Solely because, not because I'm just a big Suzuki fanboy, but I'm not gonna lie, I am. But there are other bikes out there that are better than Suzuki, that do better things than Suzuki. But I would have to sit here and tell you right on the back that's gonna really be neck and neck to it. The other two is definitely going to be, the other one is definitely going to be the 636. Now, I've ridden them, a lot of my friends have them, and pretty much it's almost like I own them because I pretty much ride it all the time, and I'm the one that does all the maintenance and fixes on them when they do need the maintenance and stuff like that. So it's like I also get to really enjoy kind of ownership of both bikes without really paying for it. And I will say that the Suzuki has a little bit more relaxed riding position, a little bit more plush seat, where the 636 is a little bit more aggressive, but not too as aggressive to how the R6 is versus the CBR 600. The reason why I'm going to say this also is because the GSX-R gives it that little bit more edge and fun because it has that torque factor. Suzuki's really good at putting torque and creating torque and having it drive to that rear wheel to really make that enjoyable seat of the pants feel, where some of the other ones, it doesn't really matter if you're in the 600 or the 1000 territory. They really just don't pull always that way. Or if they do create that torque, they make it later in the power band, very similar to how the ZX-10 does. Another reason that the the ZX-6 and the GSX-R is so great is because opposed to the other two, meaning the CBR and the R6, the seats on the other two bikes are a lot harder. They don't have that cush and plush. And when you're kind of riding into the entry level, world, you think you're big and bad, right? You always think you're big and bad. You got your first crotch rocket. You want to go fast. You want to do 150 miles an hour until somebody else on another 600 or 1,000 comes up and makes your ass look like a straight pussy and leaves you in the dust. And they're looking back at you, giving you the finger while they're on the back tire, doing whatever it is they need to do. And all of a sudden you're just like, oh man, I thought I was fast, but I'm really not. So at that time and token, then you realize, you're not the greatest rider, and then you can really concentrate a little bit on focus on riding, learning the roads and shit that you ride on, where all the potholes are, so you don't end up going over the handlebars or messing up your rims and tires and things like that. All that stuff really becomes very important to a new rider because you're so much more attentive to riding as opposed to just driving your car and focusing on where you're going. You're looking around more. You look at the road more. You look at people. You look at cars, other motorcycles and stuff like that. Because you don't have four walls around you, you have to be more attentive. You have to drive a little bit more aggressive and be defensive because at the drop of a dime, it could be over just like that. So comfort and things like that are really going to pull into a real big play. And I do think the ZX6R, which is a 636, and the GSX-R 600 are the two bang for buck the best bikes that you could get as far as handling and comfort. I do probably say the ZX6 can out-handle this bike a little bit better, but I will 100% still tell you that this bike is still more comfortable than the ZX6R. As far as ease to fix, that's just going to pretty much go to Suzuki as an overall brand. I just do think that they're the easiest to fix overall. But the ZX6R is not far behind it. They just do things a little bit differently. Just not as ass backwards some kind of like the Yamaha. Another great thing about being on a 600 as opposed to here like a 1000, is that the fuel mileage. And even when you're beating on these jokers, like when you ride a 600 and then you move to a 1000, you realize how much more gas that it really sucks up and uses. And think about it. It's not just about the bore, it's also about the stroke, cylinder volume. It's 100%, almost literally twice the size in cylinder volume. So that much more air, you got to have that much more fuel to ignite that. It then always doesn't mean double the power, but it's double the volume, so you got to feed it somehow. And that is a really good thing about also riding a motorcycle in the 600, because you always going to the gas station and stuff like that. One less thing for you to concentrate on and just enjoy riding and getting those miles in and under your belt and things like that. And as time progresses, then you move forward, and you can move forward into the more aggressive riding, whether it be on a racetrack or even moving from a different bike to more of a track focused bike, kind of very similar to like a R6. Now, for someone that even is a more experienced rider such as myself, which I love the 1000s, if I was going to buy another track bike, I like the feel of the Suzuki's, absolutely 100%. Sure, it's going to more than likely be my go-to, but the wiseness inside, tells me, the wise in me, absolutely I would pick the R6. As much as I still don't even like to work on them, but it's just an overall better bike in designed for the racetrack. And that's why I tell a lot of people, because, it does, I hate to say it, but it does look better than the GSXR too. A lot of people buy shit based on the way things look. And when you buy things also on the way things look, they're not always tending to be the most reliable. Well, I could kind of say that like for an instance, like an Audi. It's probably one of the best looking cars in the manufacturers on the planet, but they're not always prone to be the most reliable. And well, I could say like a Corolla or a Camry. Well, that car is pretty much bound to run, mechanically forever. Not that none of them ever have or don't have problems, but it's not the most appealing looking car. Okay, so I think you guys catch my drift and my point here. So once you move up into the more experienced world, as much as the R6, and a lot of you will ride and say, I commute and have 50,000 miles on my R6, it's perfectly fine, this, that, whatever. Sure, you can do it. Just like I say, you can walk down the street with a toilet on your head. That don't make it the best idea, but it works, right? So 50,000 miles on this or a Ninja versus an R6, I'm telling you, it's going to be night and day difference. Where after those miles, you may want to be like, my next bike want to be a cruiser. I'm not going to lie. I've never gotten off my Jigster, the 600 or the 1000, and been like, I can't wait to frickin' just get off this joker because it's so frickin' uncomfortable. Where pretty much almost every other bike and the other BMW, meaning the black one, not this one, has kind of pretty much been on that tippy toe, because there's really no such thing as a real comfortable crotch rocket. And for the ones that have had other kinds of crotch rockets, they know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. So I really do believe that those are the two best intro level bikes. They do work great. Those two, unfortunately, are the most too expensive out of the bunch. The CBR and the R1 are definitely going to be cheaper, but they're more single-purpose, and I truly just do believe that from an overall riding experience and a mechanical experience, those two absolutely will do you wonders and take care of you. And as long as you just do the basic maintenance, you'll be pretty much golden. As you will on some of the other ones, but they will just run you a little bit better. And if you're not as mechanically savvy, some of these other ones, the other two that I've recommended, will probably do you a tad bit better and help you out and saving you just a tad bit, a little bit of money. So I wanted to touch base on this, help you guys out with that, and hopefully that does work, and hopefully that answers a lot of your questions. So, but that's going to wrap it up here for today's video. I hope you guys like what you saw. Facebook, Instagram, @SpeedBug, same name, here's YouTube. Peace.